Good morning. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to Mornings with Marvel, where authenticity lives and thrives to create a space of growth, healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. Good morning to each and every one of you. It is Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? I'm losing track of the days. It's Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. As always, we have a cold advisory that's in effect. It's so cold outside that in the city of Philadelphia, it's been shut down. Services has been shut down, the courthouses, etc., for the second day in a row. Schools are closed for a second day in a row. And for those of you who have been watching the not only watching the news but experiencing the cold shifts across the country from Texas over to the East Coast, know that there's another system forming somewhere between the ocean. So it's not this time. It will not be from Texas through Georgia through North Carolina. It'll be the Carolinas upwards to Maine. So pay attention. We're praying that it goes straight out into the ocean and not come up the coast the way it's purportedly trying to do, and we should be okay. In the meantime, I'm asking that you not only take care of yourselves, but that you take care of your neighbors, because there's so much going on out here. We've seen so many people stuck in the ice, so many people trying to shovel themselves out, and we have been helping each other. So that's been a great thing. I always start this show with a morning motivation. As much as I possibly can. For those of you who are just joining us at 7 a.m., we will have Philadelphia County Sheriff Rochelle Bilal on with us, and I am working with, not just with her, but with others to talk about what's coming towards Philadelphia as we deal with everything that's happening around the country. So here's the morning motivation. I love to say this one because Pastor Waller, the Reverend Dr. Alan E. Waller, is literally one of my favorite people. We tend to only choose people because we think they're perfect, right? That they on paper and in person, they always seem to be perfect. But I like people who are flawed. We're not all wonderful all the time. And so I always am very suspect of people who, the minute somebody makes a mistake, they go, oh my God, see who they are, I'm never, blah, 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 blah. We have to stop doing that, right? And remember that we are flawed ourselves. So the Reverend Dr. Alan E. Waller wrote this: you find out who your friends are, not when the sun is shining, but when it is raining. Reverend Dr. Alan E. Waller. Some folks love you. Some folks love when you stay in a stagnant place so they can remain comfortable and complacent, only to fall apart when you dare to leave the mud that they waddle in. Some folks only love you until you find yourself in some challenges. Then it is crickets in the deafening silence. I want to stop there for a little bit because I remember some years ago, and I'm looking at his face, Seth Williams. He used to be the district attorney of Philadelphia, and he found himself in some trouble. And while everybody was caterwauling, myself included, because I didn't know him well, I just was going about what was going on with the news, I noticed one person, I may have been more, I noticed one person stood by him. That was Reverend Marshall Mitchell, stood by him even as he was going down into the flames. And while I didn't say anything in the moment, I really admired the fact that Marshall Mitchell, Pastor Marshall Mitchell, he's the pastor of Salem Baptist Church in Jenkintown right now. Even though he saw his friend had made some horrible mistakes and that he was in the news and all these things were going on, Mitchell stood by his friend to the very end, as far as I know. Now, he may have gone quiet, but I remember that they were really close. And so he continued to defend him and to stand by him. There were others who were doing it too, but Marshall Mitchell stood in the forefront for me. And what that simply says to me in that moment was this: when you are friends with someone, no matter how difficult their life may become, some people may find themselves in the spotlight, some people may find them for cause or for non-cause. Stick with your friends. You may admonish them, you may say, bro, that was not a good thing to do, this is that terrible. But when you are supposed to be friends with someone, stick with them. Stick with them. Stick with them. right? They're not always going to be in the place of disdain, of hurt. And while everybody else may walk away, if you consider yourself to be a friend, then you stick with your friend, okay? But I never consider folks friend until, I'm your friend until I disagree with you on some level, and then all of a sudden you're walking away from me. And stop calling everybody friends, right? Okay, okay. Some folks grin and smile and hug you, while behind closed doors, they will do everything to undermine you. How many of you have had people like that in your lives? Some folks will happily listen to every negative thing they hear, then dump it all in your lap out of concern for your well being. If you're my friend, you don't come to me and say, well, so and so said such and such. No, you check them at the door, and I never should hear from you what so and so is saying if I'm truly your friend. You're supposed to fix that before all else fails, right? Some folks want to be your friend, but being liked by the bullies in the group is more important than standing in their authenticity, and they listen silently and do nothing when you are being unfairly judged. Ooh, child. What I know for certain, having one good friend is far better than 20 lukewarm acquaintances. And learn the difference between the two and move accordingly. Your soul will thank you. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Uh, I woke up this morning and I said to myself, I keep writing these morning motivations. I keep, I'm observing everything that's going on around me. And mm, I probably should have written 2 or 3 more books by now. They're sitting in the cache. Got 7 books written actually, and just I don't know what it is that stops me from pushing things out because I don't feel like it's the right moment or time. But I'm encouraging you, whatever it is that your gift is, find that space to let it out. All right. Let me look at the comments this morning. I am looking forward to this conversation with Sheriff Bilal. Hi, Carla. Good morning, my darling. Are you out of the snow? Good morning, Shaquilla. Marguerite says, I was just having this conversation yesterday. People may treat you well and do kind things for you, yet not everyone is your friend or should be your confidant. How about that? How about that? Marguerite, I've had people, that cozying up, out of concern, really care about what happens to you. But they forget that I see the glint in their eyes when they ask me certain questions. Like they're trying to see if I'm going to say certain things about certain people. And I'm looking at them going, you really think you may, but I'm playing along. I lower my eyelids because my eyes tell everything that I'm thinking. And I go, I don't know what you're talking about. No. Nope. Nope, I don't have anything to say about anything. And quite frankly, people will even make up stories and say, you said, I was talking to Marguerite the other day and she said this about that one and she said that about that one. All lies. So when you think you know someone well enough and you hear these kinds of things, before you believe it sight unseen, go to them and say, I heard something today that just did not sound like you. Did not sound like you at all. Because folks will be out here trying to destroy people's names too. It's a terrible thing. And here's the other thing. You can disagree with someone, end your relationship with them, and not take them out, not destroy them. You just move on. We've become such a weird society where we just, we have to destroy people because we don't like them anymore. We no longer work with them. We've got to get better, man. So Carla responded to me. She says, I'm in a space that I don't have to shovel out and haven't needed to go out in these icy streets, man. I'm going to tell you. Viola says, the unhoused are so glad to be where they are. Hallelujah. Yeah. Viola, as always, has been helping an unhoused couple. While I was on the radio station, she came on and talked about them. And so many people that was listening back then jumped in and said they would donate a night for the couple, another night for the couple. And it was so heartwarming. She's still helping that couple, right? So thank you so much, Viola. God bless you, because it is way too cold to be outside, and this couple lives somewhere out in a field behind a train station in Delaware. So, and they're just a microcosm of so many people The city of Philadelphia has warming centers, spaces people to come in and get warm. My husband and I were outside a couple of hours. We had on all the things, the shoes, the scarves, the everything. And my right hand got caught up in the snow because we had a snow drift that came up to my thigh. And I stepped in it to get in my truck, and my whole thigh went down into the snowdrift. My husband had to pull me out. So I can't, and we were only we could have easily walked into the house and gotten warm. There were people who were not able to do that. So yeah, it's really interesting out here. Anyway, while I'm waiting for Sheriff Bilal, I'm going to cover a little bit of news. My husband says, oh wow, here we go. 4 people, including a firefighter, were taken to the hospital, officials said, as crews worked to extinguish a house fire in Newcastle, Delaware, early Tuesday. So it's happening this morning. According to officials, fire crews returned to a home along the 100 block of Palmer Avenue in Newcastle, Delaware, at about 5:30 a.m. on Tuesday, after having to been on the property earlier in the night. Officials did not immediately say if they needed to return to the property because a fire reignited. So it's happening as we speak. But officials did say during the response to the fire, 4 people, including a firefighter, were taken to the hospital. Whew. So that was written by NBC. All right, let me go on over here and see what's going on. This is local news. The school district of Philadelphia will operate virtually today. The school virtually on Tuesday as the city works to clean up from the winter storm, based on the conditions due to the inclement weather. Out of an abundance of caution and in order to ensure the safety of our entire school community, including our valued staff members, school district will operate virtually. This was said in the statement. This was written by 6abcnews.com. I'm sure every child, teacher, and student knows this by now. Governor Tim Walz, this is national news. Governor Tim Walz says he and President Trump shared a phone call Monday morning, during which he says the president agreed to consider a reduction of federal immigration enforcement forces in Minnesota following the second fatal shooting of a resident by federal agents. A spokesperson for Walz's office of the governor made the case that we need impartial investigations of the Minneapolis shootings involving federal agents, and that we need to reduce the number of federal agents in Minnesota, and added that Mr. Trump agreed to look into reducing the number of federal agents there. That was CBSNews.com. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro on Monday called for the Trump administration to terminate its immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis following the killing of Alex Pretty by federal agents. A fundamental responsibility for government is to keep people safe, and part of the way you keep people safe is building trust between law enforcement and the community, Shapiro said in an interview on Good Morning America. What Donald Trump and the federal government are doing is eroding that trust, is making people less safe, and it is time to terminate his mission, he said. The Pennsylvania Democrat called for an independent investigation into the killings of Pretty and Renee Good to be led by the state of Minnesota. Some Republicans have called for a thorough investigation of Pretty's killing after videos of his killing raised questions about Trump administration officials' initial characterizations of the incidents. This is abcnews.com. Ye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West, apologized for anti-Semitic remarks he made in the past and said a brain injury he suffered in a car accident 25 years ago led to his bipolar disorder diagnosis. In a full-page ad in the print edition of Monday's Wall Street Journal, West said the right frontal lobe of his brain was injured in the accident and he wasn't properly diagnosed until 2023. He also said that in early 2025, he experienced a 4-month-long manic episode that destroyed his life. quote unquote. As the situation became increasingly unsustainable, there were times I didn't want to be here anymore, he says in the ad. He goes on to say that having bipolar disorder made him feel like he didn't need help. This was written by CBSNews.com. Um, I need a therapist on with me. And Mary May, if you are around, and if you're listening to this after the show airs, I need you to tell me if you can get bipolar by damaging your brain. Did I say that correctly? Yes. By having some sort of incident that damages your brain. Let me know, please. Mm-hmm. Because I'm interested. I recognize he talked about what he said was he made anti-Semitic remarks and 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 has done some wild things in a 4 month spree that he was on. But I found it interesting that he apologized for the anti-Semitic remarks he made and was not more specific about the other things he had done. Again, brain working. Okay, so if somebody can tell me that part, I'd like to know. I do wish him well. I think we all wish him well, and we want him to be okay, right? We saw signs of his behaviors in his documentary that went on since he was young, and then we saw that his mother was the person that was standing in the gap for him as he would slightly go off the rails. So, and I think that did happen about 25 years ago. He was younger, way younger then. So we'll talk about that. President Donald Trump said the U.S. used a secret weapon he called the discombobulator to disable Venezuelan equipment when the U.S. captured Nicolas Maduro. Trump also renewed his threat to conduct military strikes on land against drug cartels, including in Mexico. He made comments in an interview Friday with the New York Post. The Republican president was commenting on reports that the U.S. had a pulsed energy weapon and said, the discombobulator, I'm not allowed to talk about it. He said the weapon made Venezuelan equipment not work. They never got their rockets off. They had Russian and Chinese rockets, and they never got them off, Trump said in the interview. Oh, my God. That was NBCPhiladelphia.com. In international news, Mexico City gunmen opened fire at a soccer field in central Mexico on Sunday, killing at least 11 people and wounding 12, authorities said. Salamanca Mayor Cesar Prieto said in a statement posted to social platforms that the gunmen arrived at the end of a soccer match. 10 people died at the scene and one died later in the hospital, he says. The mayor said a woman and a minor were among the wounded. Prieto said the attack was part of a crime wave in the city and appealed to President Claudia Sheinbaum for help to control said violence. This was written by abcnews.com. President Donald Trump again insists that the United States will effectively take ownership of U.S. military bases in Greenland, making them sovereign U.S. land. A senior Greenlandic official described that scenario as a red line. Naja Nathanielson has a sprawling government portfolio as Minister of Business, Trade, Mineral Resources, Justice, and Gender Equality for the Denmark-owned Arctic island. In an interview with USA Today on January 25th, Nathanielson said that Greenland giving up sovereignty is not on the table for now. She also said her government had not been presented with anything following a turbulent diplomatic week that saw Trump walk back his threats to take control by force of the Arctic island and keep negotiating. That was written by USA Today. Because we've been talking about this. Google has agreed to pay $68 million to settle a class action lawsuit that alleged the technology's giant's voice assistants had illegally recorded users and then shared their private conversations with advertisers. They're still doing it. The preliminary settlement, filed January 23rd in federal court in San Jose, California, requires approval by U.S. District Judge Beth Lapson Freeman. The settlement stems from a lawsuit filed by several Google device owners who claimed their conversations had been recorded without their knowledge. While Google stated that its voice assistant would only register people's speech when consumers uttered an activation phrase such as, "Hey Google," the consumers claim that their devices recorded them even without such language. Let me see. Right now, my phone microphone is on. I am not using the phone to do anything. So this is Apple, right? So, hey Siri, they're all doing it. They're all doing it. And until people use their voices to speak up, or when they see the microphone, they stop talking about anything that's important because they're recording all of our voices, all of our voices. And for some reason, we feel like we have no idea on what to do. Oh, look, she's here early. Oh, good morning. All right, she's not in the thing yet. She just set up early. All right, but she came in early. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'll wait until she gets in here. Um, Sharon says, I am not a professional, but my brother became mildly schizophrenic after a traumatic brain injury. Maybe it was there all along. Wow. 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 Carla says, I don't consider myself a friend. Good morning. If I agree with 100% of what you say and vice versa, we are all different in numerous ways. So it's inevitable that we will encounter a time when we disagree. Good morning, madam. How are you?
Good morning. Good
You
morning.
want me to wait a couple of minutes?
Yeah, I'm turning
All
this
right,
light
no worries. The woods, oh, Viola says the woods behind the railroad tracks for her.
on.
Okay, good morning. Eloise, good morning, good morning.
That's
Good
right.
morning,
That's right.
madam. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
I
How are
am
you?
I am so good. There's so much going on in the country and in this city,
Uh,
and
uh,
you are people are saying good morning to you. They're
good
saying good
morning,
morning to you there.
everybody.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
And one of the few voices we heard immediately was yours, right? And so I really wanted to get you one here. Oh, another person saying they're saying good morning to you. She says good morning, y'all. Marguerite says good morning, Sheriff Bilal. Alexandria says good morning.
Good morning.
Uh so I let me introduce you to the people and then we can go from there. Uh
Okay.
Sheriff Rochelle Bilal leads the office of the sheriff for the city and county of Philadelphia. Bilal, a 27-year veteran of the Philadelphia Police Department, formerly served as secretary of the Philadelphia chapter of the NAACP, and she is the former president of the Guardian Civic League, a law enforcement community oversight organization made up of over 2,000 plus active and retired Philadelphia law enforcement professionals. I'm going to stop there because we have a lot to talk about, and I'm grateful that you took the time to come and sit with us this morning. The I want to dig right into immigration. Um, there's a lot happening right now in Minnesota, as we can all see. We saw that two civilians lost their lives. There is rumor that the ICE is coming to Philadelphia in large numbers. They're already here, correct? Because they're in the
That's correct.
courthouses, right?
Well, they're
Um,
not in the courthouses. They're not in the courthouses.
thank you for
They are
okay.
outside of that's it. They are
Where
not
are
in the
they at the
courthouse.
courthouse?
They are outside and around in the area. They are not in the courthouses. And that's a misnomer. And whoever keeps trying to put that out there, and I know who it is, they keep trying to delete the fact that they are outside and not in the courthouses.
Because
The
you know
people got to
someone. Go ahead.
understand the ICE agents, and I try to uh, not take the short term of it, but the long term. Immigration and enforcement is one part that has been going on for decades, but they do it right. They come, they get a warrant, it's signed out by the judge. If they come to our courthouses, we make sure we take the person in custody. And if they are in an institution, we take them back there. ICE goes get them. And there's no drama within the courthouses or outside. These group of people that we see for the past 11 months is not the ones that have been working for decades doing it right. And so that's why I constantly say that they're fake. Matter of fact, the governor called them fake too the other day because of their limited training, not trained in de escalation. You got Border Patrol people coming into communities, not knowing how to interact with the people, very aggressive, masked up, just breaking the law, stopping people for no reason. And you have to speak out on this stuff. This
Mm-hmm.
stuff is in our cities and around. Two people did not have to die because of their inability or ineffectiveness or incapable of doing the job right.
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
they're doing is aggressive bullying and targeting people. And them people just happen to look like me and you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I thank you for clearing up the misnomer that ICE is in the courthouse. Because that I woke up to that this morning. ICE is in the I was like, huh? With Bilal as sheriff? ICE is in the courthouse? That didn't make sense. So thank you. So they're outside the courthouse and they're grabbing people as they leave, enter and
Yeah,
leave.
I
Is
don't know
that
where they
what's
get that
happening?
from.
Is that what's happening?
You're breaking up.
Oh, it's your system. Sheriff, can you log out and log back in, please? Can you do that for me? It's your system that's doing it.
Okay. I'll
All
log
right,
out.
log out and log back in. I love that she came in with the fire, and because I woke up this morning to a message that says over 100 people have been grabbed in the courthouse, and I'm like, huh? The first question I asked her, she said, "That's not happening. We are not. This is not. They're outside the courthouse and not in the courthouse because we're not allowing them inside the courthouse at all." So Marguerite says, at some point in this interview, please ask the sheriff to share what her role is here. I'm on it, Marguerite. I am on it. Alexandra says they are not vetted, trained, and only interested in the $25 sign-on bonus. So I'll wait for her to come back in so we can have this conversation. Her internet is a little spotty, so it's All right. So what you just heard was my having a brief conversation with the sheriff of Philadelphia City and County. Well, out here she's coming back in. Let me see if she's better. Let's see if that is better. Sheriff Bilal, can you hear me? But now I can't
Testing
hear
one,
you.
two,
There you
three,
go.
four.
Yes, there you go. I got you. I got you. I can hear you. Yes. The people are excited to listen to what you have to say. So you are now here in Philadelphia. Did you hear the same conversation that they're sending way more troops, thousands more troops to the city? And what is going to happen as a direct result? What is your role in all of this? What can you do? What can you not do? What do the people need to know?
First of all, I haven't heard thousands of people. That's a rumor that's
Mm-hmm.
going around, and you know what rumors bring
Yes,
certain
ma'am.
things. I haven't heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the ones that are here operating, they've been here doing that. The ones that are aggressive been here, I guess, for the past 8 or 9 months,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just going to different parts of the city.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever happens, as you can see up in Minnesota, Philadelphia is another different animal. And
Mm-hmm.
so the people here, I know exactly what stand up against that. And my conversation with the DA is basically standing on his. If he arrests them, if they commit a crime in this city, that means they violate the laws here, then he will charge them. That means they will get arrested, and we will transport them to where they need to go. If
Mm-hmm.
that's jail, that's where they're going.
Okay.
So that's the things my office can do,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
There are people. Someone wrote yesterday that they snatched a child from school last week. Are they allowed to do that?
Snatching a child from school? A child? I didn't hear
Um,
that they snatched the child from school. I didn't
yeah.
hear it, nor did I see that. I
So,
saw in Minnesota they had a child debate
mm,
the family to come out the house. But
right,
snatching children out of school
yeah. Let
that's
me ask you
born here?
this. Yeah, right. Let me ask you this, Sheriff Bilal. What should people do? What should people know? Is it legal for them to come and break people's doors down without a warrant in the city of Philadelphia?
No, it's not legal. You have to have a warrant. You have to have probable cause to be able to break somebody's door down and go into their house. That
So
is
let's
not legal.
Okay, so let's just say this starts to happen in Philadelphia theoretically. What should people know and do to save themselves?
You know what? There are a lot of organizations going around training people what to do when it comes to dealing with ICE. Myself, normally I put together pamphlets. Myself, district attorney, some of my friends from across the country is putting together a pamphlet of what to do when you encounter ICE.
Mhm,
And that information we're putting together now, and hopefully we get it done by the beginning of February or the middle of February so we can put it out.
mhm,
Because people need to know step by step. And you can take some of the things that are happening in Minnesota as what you do. This
mhm,
is a time where everybody will have to work together. You will have to work together to protect your community and to protect your neighbors. You will
yeah,
need to. You would
yes,
need to be able to work. Look, all the little pettiness that you have with your neighbors, get over it. Because at this point, we need to protect democracy, we need to protect our city, and we need to protect our neighbors. That's what we're going to do. No, they can't break in your house. No, and this administrative warrant that they have is not good enough to come to us in the courts and say, I want that person. You got to have a warrant signed by a judge. So we're not accepting that. That's why they can do it outside and not in the courts.
mm, got it, got it. So if they're home and someone and they come and knocking on the doors, you do not have to open your doors and let them in.
No, you do not.
No, you do not.
They
Oh,
say they got a warrant. They say they got a warrant. And slip the warrant through the door. Put the warrant in the window. Make sure it's
mhm,
signed out by the judge because you can basically Google the judge name. You, if there's a piece of paper they got and they say that's a judge signature, Google the signature. Google who that person is.
mhm, mhm.
And if that's not a judge, no.
Okay. The folks in Minnesota have been struggling like hell. The police department has been, even the police department is saying this is highly irregular. We can't get anything done. Should 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 we find ourselves in a scenario like that? Or do you think we will not find ourselves in a scenario like that in Philadelphia, just based on you and Larry Krasner and the policies that you've put in place? And even the governor has been talking about, what should not happen here in our Commonwealth. Should we find ourselves in that scenario, how will you manage them? Because there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them, and there's a lot of people here live here in Philadelphia, and there's a lot of law enforcement entities around and in this city. We will have to do the best that we can in dealing with that, and so we will basically put out and help train people on what to do with this situation.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota dealt with it a lot, and it's more than just two. It's two people killed, but there's a lot of people injured. There's a lot of people being brutalized. I got an email the other day from a female who's a citizen that they stopped, slammed her head against the concrete. She got a concussion, and she was just driving to work, and they detained her for 2 days, and she's a citizen. See, you can't come and say, "Oh, this is the one out the worst of the worst," but you're going to daycares, you're going to car washes, you're lingering outside of court. It impedes the courts because people are afraid to come to court to be witnesses, to
Mhm.
testify. Cases can't go on. Victims can't get justice. I mean, it stops a lot of things happening. Matter of fact, people are afraid that now, with my deputies that are out there doing their job because they deal with the warrants from the court and they're out there 24/7, that when they knock on their door, they think they ICE.
Wow.
So that's impeding us from doing our job in this city.
Yeah.
Just because of what they're seeing in Minnesota and the ones they see around the city, they thinking that they're coming up there as ICE agents, and they're not. We are not cooperating in that manner with that type of force, with that thug, with that type of mentality that's in the city. We do not cooperate with that. And let me just say to this, no professional law enforcement officer acts like that. They don't. And any law enforcement person agrees with their actions like that, then they wanted to go back to what it was way before now. They wanted to go back to the 60s. They wanted to go back and you can do something with impunity. You don't get arrested, you don't get charged because your word is better than theirs. They wanted to go back to that. But no law enforcement professional around the country will stand up and say to me that you agree with these actions. Now they're starting to talk about it because guess what? They even stopping law enforcement people.
Yep. Yep.
Did you not see that?
I did. I
Did you
did
not
see that. I saw that
see
they
that?
stopped law enforcement, and they had to prove who they were, and it's just terrible. It just feels like it's this thing that's just it's all over the place. So the
It
person
is.
that came to you and said that they gave them a concussion, what recourse does that person have? After being locked up for 2 days, because a friend of mine says she had employees missing for 30 days. They came back and said ICE had them, thought they were not citizens of this country. So even though they had their papers on them, even though it feels so weird to say they had their papers on them. They had driver's
Paper.
licenses that said that they were real IDs, and they still locked them up.
That's to me, that's breaking the law. And so those things, I think, in this city, the DAs are putting together that when they are breaking the law in this city, where do you complain to? Who do you complain to?
Right. That's the right. So where do you complain? Do we know where they
They will,
complain?
they will complain to the district attorney's office because they will have to put together those charges on them. Now the
Okay.
problem comes in is how do you identify them since they all mask up? So
Right.
that's why people are taking
Mm-hmm.
videos of
Mm-hmm.
everybody that comes into your neighborhood and
Mm-hmm.
this aggressor,
Mm-hmm.
videos to make sure that you capture everything that happens. They could
Mm-hmm.
have lied on the two situations in Minnesota, but because of videos, because people took videos in all type of angles, they could not keep with
Mm-hmm.
that foolishness, the
Mm-hmm.
lies that they put on those people, the lies that they tried to tell.
Mm-hmm.
They will
Uh,
lie.
Yeah, and have been lying. This is why I keep saying to folks, you'll hear, oh, they were enemy of the state and they did this and they did that. And so I told y'all, pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on around you. So Marguerite asked this question: is there a public database that indicates the warrants that have been issued so that one can verify validity?
No, I don't think it's a public database. I know on our website, our
Mm-hmm.
priority website, we list those who are wanted that we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to phillysheriff.com and
Mm-hmm.
you can look into our priority list, we list
Mm-hmm.
all the warrants that we are looking for people. And you can look and see if they're listed up there. But I don't think you would probably have to contact a lawyer to go
Mm-hmm.
into a database to see if you are wanted, to see
Mm-hmm.
if there's a warrant for you. So if they come up to your house, they may need to be able to identify themselves.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
they're looking at that.
Um, so okay, here we go. Uh Laura says, here's another point. I believe Border Patrol does not have ICE on their uniform. That makes things even more confusing. And it's also been said out of Minnesota, out of Minneapolis, it's been reported, Sheriff, that now ICE is disguising themselves as Uber drivers and they're trying to
Mm,
blend into the community. So, to your
mm-hmm.
point, make sure you have videos, you take videos, know who is on your block, all the things. Make it right with your neighbors. Don't be out here fighting with people, etc., because this is a time when we should come together.
You don't
Just
want
so
the
that,
you don't want to be you don't want ICE to pull you into anything either
say
because
more
they
about
could
that.
grab you and say, they could grab you and say you did something to them. That's why you want these cameras. That's why you want to be able to have video. Just like they said in reference to the guy that was just killed. What did they say he did? He brandished the gun. If those
Yes.
videos was not there, their lives would have been gone wild. Their lives would have been accepted. But because those videos were there, everybody could see that it wasn't. They're going to try to tell you, don't believe your lying eyes. But your lying eyes and your videos prove different. And that's what you need to do. Make sure that. I don't order my daughter camera for her car, my car. I look, I got cameras around my house. I can't look, you
We
couldn't
are in
tell
the
where a
same
camera
place, Sheriff
is.
Bilal, and I did that years ago. That was my husband. You know, you always want to be protected. Cameras in your cars, cameras around the house, all the things, because people are nefarious, and it's so strange out here. Let me ask you this: the pamphlet. How long do you think it will be before we get the pamphlet? Um,
We're working we're working on it now, and I'm
mhm,
trying to be good because when I say I'm gonna put it out, I want to be able to put it out on that day. So
mhm.
we're working on it now. So sometime in February, we
Okay,
should put it together, have all the information in, and we put it out. Because
okay.
the organization that I constantly work with um, consists of professors, former law enforcement people. We put together what to do and stop our police pamphlet that we put out a long time ago to teach people on what they need to do because of some situations happening with the police. So we're
Mhm,
going to put this pamphlet out too so that people can have that. And when we're out in the community, we're going to make sure we give it out to everybody.
mhm, mhm.
And then once we put it out, it's going to be on our website.
Okay, will do. Good, so that we can, so people can print it and share it with their neighbors, because not everybody has internet access, you know, and not everybody knows how to use the computer so properly. And I'm talking about, and I'm heading into the senior state myself, so sometimes it's more difficult to get all of that stuff. The Some weeks ago, you bravely stood and spoke up about what was going on here, and you said, ICE don't want that smoke. I want you to know you reverberated around the world. My Jamaican people were calling me and going, Yo, was she born and raised? It was so funny because you spoke up. What was the did you feel supported in that moment, or did you feel like, you know, people were not working with you as a direct result of your making a statement that a lot of Philadelphians thought was so appropriate? Because this is Philly. This is absolutely, you said in one sentence what Philly is and who Philly are and what they will do. So in that moment, how did you feel afterwards, and did you feel supported?
Well, let's say this that that smoke, I had utilized that, especially when we were dealing with issues of those that are wanted in the city,
Mhm,
those that were causing havoc in our
mhm,
communities.
mhm,
And the smoke is you don't want to be arrested, charged, and go to jail. That's the
mhm,
smoke.
mhm.
And see, you had some people outside of here that just didn't connect with their brain as to
Yes.
what the smoke was. The
Mhm,
smoke goes both ways. You don't want to get drawn in and get the smoke on you, and you
mhm,
don't want to come in here and commit a crime and get the smoke
mhm,
on you, which is get
mhm,
charged, get arrested, and go to jail.
mhm,
And
mhm,
so that's not the first time I said that. And when the
mhm,
district attorney says that he will charge you, if
mhm,
you come into this city and commit a crime, that he will charge you, arrest you, make sure you are arrested, and we will transport you. And if there's a warrant issue, we will come and get you and
mhm,
transport you to where you need to go. That's the smoke. And
mhm,
so no, people need to know that you just can't come in here and just do whatever you want. We are not afraid of folks. We stand 10 toes down on supporting our communities
mhm.
against foreign invaders, against fake wannabes. These people, when they're talking about they got 47 days of training, law enforcement professionals go 5, 6, 19 weeks of training, not
A-
47
And
days.
and in Philadelphia, it's 10 months.
And they're trained on de-escalating, not
Yep.
agitating, not
Mhm,
being a thug, not being a bully. So
mhm,
there's not a professional law enforcement that can say this act, these behaviors are acceptable because
mhm,
they're not. And they impede on us. They're breaking down what we fought to build between communities and law enforcement. We worked hard to build that bridge between us and our communities. And just crazy people, and I call them ill trained, trying to come in communities and be thuggish and bullying is breaking down that trust that the
Mhm.
communities have with law enforcement. And we can't continue to have that. We just
Right.
can't.
Yeah. Yeah. What Talk to me a little bit now about your leadership as a woman. I noticed that a man can say X, Y, and Z and be okay, but when a woman says it, she is everything but the son of God. And I'm
Oh,
using that
it
term
becomes
loosely.
it becomes a problem. If you notice, there are a lot of people going around now is speaking up, but because I said it, then
Mhm.
then then that's just it.
Mhm.
Taking on this position, winning this election, and getting sworn in 2020, because I wasn't their favorite, because I wasn't the one that they wanted, but the people wanted me here.
Mhm.
I've been under attack, under scrutiny. It was like a
Mhm.
microscope of any and everything that I did became front
Mhm.
page news. Any and everything. And then the misinformation that they put out is basically that. You got papers that got unlimited ink, and it's just terrible on
Mhm.
what they tried to come at me with. And they
Mhm.
haven't stopped, but it doesn't stop me from updating, moving forward, moving that organization forward from what
Mhm.
it was in the past.
Mhm.
I put out on our website a term report, which was 4 years, and a 2 year report, which will show you everything we've updated in that office and everything that we're coming into compliance with in that office. We've changed that office for the better, but they don't put that out. They put little stuff. Oh, this person said that, or that person. Look, you're gonna have disgruntled employees all over the place, but you got to stand up to doing what's right, and that's just what I'm
Mhm.
doing.
Mhm. What advice do you have for women as we wind this interview down? What advice do you have for women who want to walk in leadership? The thing that strikes me about you is that you're authentic no matter who likes it or not. Um, what advice do you have for women who are walking into leadership roles? What tell us what you would advise them to do or not do in these spaces that they find themselves in, because it's a lonely place at the top.
You have to come with your authentic self. Don't let yourself don't be used by people, because people tend to try to use you. I had people that came with me in my office in the first year and then they were gone because they had an agenda, but it wasn't the agenda that I set for myself in that
Mhm.
office. So they had to go. Stay true to who you are as a person. If God covers you, if God is your sole person in reference to what you do for the good, stay on that. Stay on that and believe that truly, that nobody can touch you unless it's the will of God. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your mission on what you're doing, the better folks, better an institution, better whatever it is that you are trying to do. Stay humble. There's not a person that didn't have my phone number for the past 30 years that still has it. And if they call, I pick it up. Stay
Mhm.
humble. Stay humble. Don't get arrogant. Don't get above thinking that you're above the average person. I still live in my house. I still live in my neighborhood. I still talk to my neighbors. I still hang out with my friends. I still stay to myself. And though some people try to, oh, you the sheriff, I said, no, the sheriff is what I do. My name is Rochelle.
Yeah.
And that's just stay humble and stay true to yourself and don't
Mhm.
let people try to use you.
Mm.
Don't.
That's some good words of advice, Sheriff Rochelle Bilal. Anything else you'd like to address with us? You know, for the last, I'm going to ask you this because we've talked about this over and over again. What exactly is your role as the sheriff of Philadelphia City and County? And Marguerite wants to know, once this role is done for you, what is your next?
Once this role is done for me, I'm gonna be like everybody else. I'm gonna retire from this job, and I'm still be an activist because I'm not leaving this city. I'm not going to Florida to move anywhere. I'm gonna stay right here, and I'm gonna be a pain in the butt to everybody that's want to do our people and our communities wrong. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna stay right here until the law calls me back home, and that's where I'll be. I'm not looking for no other position. I got a book that I'm writing because people need to know what this all entails.
Mhm.
And I'll finish writing my book, put it out there, and I'll stay right here and still be the activist that I'm basically born to be.
Mhm. There are folks who say that the sheriff's office cannot arrest, cannot tell them exactly what the office is and does.
And I tell people they need to Google what the sheriff's powers is, because then they will clearly understand that, especially when they try to say that we don't. Uh,
Mhm.
the Philadelphia Sheriff Office is a constitutionally established law enforcement agency responsible for the civil process, courtroom security, prisoner transport, service of warrants, and executing court orders. That's what we do. We have arrest powers. Yes, we can arrest you.
You
If my
can.
deputies see you doing a crime in front of them, they will arrest you, and then they will turn it over to the police department, and they'll
Mhm.
be that witness on that case. Yes.
Mhm. Okay, you heard it here.
We do a lot of the civil process. We
Mhm.
do a lot of the civil. The police department does the patrol and investigation within the department. They have a bigger a group of people that they deal with. They
Mhm.
have a bigger budget. We do a lot of the
Mhm.
civil processing within the city. Uh, we we got K9 warrant unit. We have
Mhm.
bike unit, and we have those that work in the courts. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Sheriff Rochelle Bilal, thank you so much for joining us today. I love that at the beginning of the interview you said there are no ICE agents in the courthouse; they're outside the courthouse. Are you? How do you? How do you perceive that they're breaking the law? Can you arrest them outside of the courthouse? Can they be arrested outside of the courthouse? That's just my asking the question.
If they are breaking the law, if my deputies see them committing a crime outside,
Mhm.
they can stop it. But what we're trying not to do is to pull my deputies into into the rhetoric that they're talking about. Oh, they're interfering with the justice. They're interfering, and then try to lock my deputies up. We're not having it. So we
Okay.
basically training my deputies to how to deal with ICE when it comes down to them
Mhm.
situations outside the court,
Yeah.
making sure that they keep themselves safe and everybody else around them safe.
See.
See, the deputies outside the court, if people are videotaping, they allow them to videotape, but they keep them back so they don't get drawn into the ICE rhetoric. So they don't get drawn into them getting arrested by
Mhm.
those ICE agents. And
Yeah.
so, but they keep everybody back and keeping them safe.
Yes. People enjoyed your conversation. They enjoyed the dialogue with that that we're having because it's opening up so that people can think about what needs to happen. I think the one major takeaway that I'm going to from um, this conversation with you is that there's a pamphlet coming. The fear, the abject fear that people feel, citizen or not, right, is something that is untenable
Mhm.
for many folks. They're just not able to navigate through it. So knowing that there's a whole pamphlet coming that people can from your office that people can, utilize where to go, what to do, what are the phone calls to make. I believe Keisha Hudson Brooks, who is the chief public defender in Philadelphia. She's pulled her office has pulled some stuff together. I'm going to try to get her on here to get some of that conversation going too. But I'm noticing there's a pattern here of women who are putting their entire selves on the line, and some men that are putting their entire selves on the line to make sure that the people of Philadelphia are safe as this thing unravels. Um, Marguerite says, So easy. He said, absolute wonderful guest. Please return again. Laura says, you're a breath of fresh air on this situation. Thank you, Sheriff Bilal. Marguerite says, can we have her back as we get closer to the 250 events? What do we need to know? Oh, thank you, Marguerite, because all eyes will be on this city. It is January, so June, July, August. What do we need to know to keep ourselves safe here with everybody around the world focusing on this city for the 250-year events?
I think that's the park administration will be putting out all that information as to what happens here
Mm-hmm.
on the 250th anniversary. It's going to be busy. It's going to be busy.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you for that.
We will work with all the law enforcement organizations,
Mm-hmm.
agencies around that's going to be part of this. We will continue to work with them.
Yeah. Sheriff Rochelle Bilal, thank you so much. Thank your team for me. They were on it the minute I asked. My team asked, they were on it. Teresa, Lord, thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you to your team. Yes, I'm going to work
You're
on
welcome.
see if we can get the police commissioner on here as well to talk. Laura's asking maybe we should get someone from the police department. It has to be the commissioner. We can't circumvent and go anywhere else. It has to be him. And Zainib says, great information. Awesome interview. Thank you so much. I know you've got to get ready for work. Thank you for agreeing to such an early morning interview. And thank you for telling us in your own words what's happening from your office and your perspective. Have a great day.
Y'all do the same. Take
Yes,
care.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. As she signs off and clicks out of this, I want to say this to all of you, and you all have known me long enough, known our group, known our people long enough to know that we're going to ask for the interviews. Make sure that we get the perspectives from each person, each group, if they can, if they are able to talk to us, that's wonderful, right? But the objective here is for us on our group to not make. Oh, someone says, thank you for all you do and being present for the citizens of Philadelphia. uh the objective is for us to not surmise. The objective is not for us to sit around and say, well, this is this and this. We have a whole lot of keyboard warriors in this city. I want to hear from the horses' mouths. And I will tell you that they are invited. If they choose not to have the conversation, I will tell you that too. But I am grateful that as of now, folks are just really um, folks are just really interested in having the conversation. You'll see as the guests get, each day we're having the different guests to talk about what impacts us, not just in this city, but in this country and beyond. I want to say that I appreciate all of you. Continue to stay warm. Continue to do what needs to be done, not just in Philadelphia where you reside, but around the country. We have been having this dialogue about being kind to each other. We have been conditioned to the thing that makes me nuts is this cancel culture, because that was designed for us to not speak to one another. It was designed for us to destroy one another. I am asking you to continue to create community. You've heard me talk about inviting strangers to my dinner table every Sunday for years until COVID happened. I see that folks are starting to have that. My neighbor next door, we're pushing the snow blower and the thing was not. He looked at me, he said, no, stop for a second, I want to fix this for you. And I looked at him and said, this is why I love you and your brother. We are helping the neighbors across the street, helping the neighbors around. We know everybody that lives on our street and who does not belong there. Everybody has camera. Find your tribe, create your communities, not just for protection, but it is the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. You feel a whole lot better when you're not just thinking about yourself and you're thinking about other people too. It is important. And I have been doing this since it's been 10 years. right? Just quietly doing this work with all of you. I want you to take care of each other. My friends in their 30s and 40s and 50s are dropping of massive strokes and massive heart attacks. Y'all, it's because we have thought that we can't talk to people about what's going on with us. I remember someone saying to me, "You're so open and transparent with your listeners. It is a breath of fresh air. But if I'm not transparent with you, then who am I going to be transparent with, right? This is not about likes. This is not about anything other than making sure you get what you need. That when you start your day after listening to this broadcast, that you feel better, that you'll go outside and you'll help somebody, right? Somebody feel the need to pick up the phone and call and say, I'm going through something. The stress level is very high. It's really high. Stanton says, this week started off with two great individuals, very informative. It's not many outlets that's coming not to cause ruin. I don't agree with many, but found that myself. Absolutely. Somebody said, what's cooking, brown sugar? Old age. That's what's cooking. And so I appreciate all of you. As I get ready to get my day started, the city of Philadelphia is closed down for a second day. For those of you who are just joining us, the mayor and her team are doing a yeoman's work. I even see people complaining, why is she talking so much about the snow? Is there anything that folks can do to really help all of y'all to get yourselves together? We need to know about what's going on in the community. We need to know what blocks are being plowed. Lord Jesus, it's a lot. And you just continue to fuss and find get it together, man. Get it together. So and you don't agree with you're not going to agree with everything your leaders do because they're not infallible, right? They're not people who are never going to make mistakes. But damn it, can we be better people about this? If the snow plows have not come down your street yet, and the mayor says there's an interactive map that shows what has been plowed, if your street hasn't been plowed, reach out to them and say, this street has not been plowed. Help your neighbors. Stop sitting around complaining. It's hard work to plow that thing out there. Trust me, we know, we've tried it. Alexandra says, after the recent events in Minneapolis, I believe Tom Holman is coming up with a different plan. Well, we'll see. We will absolutely see, but we're going to wait and do what we need to do to make sure we take care of each other in the meantime, right? All right, my darlings. This episode of Mornings with Mother is officially over. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Have a great day and stay warm.